I've proposed the American Dream Down Payment Fund.
Better than anything you can get without a prescription.
Everything got turned around, you see. What was up is down as plain as it could be. Yeah, we're all out to see.
People bought homes they knew they couldn't afford from banks who pushed those bad loans anyway.
Seems like everyone is paralyzed, staring blankly at a screen that feeds the lie. It's eating from inside.
You may feel exhausted, hopeless, and anxious.
I call it America's Homeownership Challenge.
Better than anything, it's the best.
The federal budget is out of control.
If nobody
Face runaway deficits of almost $80 billion for this budget year.
That deficit was already $232 billion for the coming year.
$1 trillion deficit.
Higher defense costs would only make our fiscal deficit problem worse.
Our war against terror is only beginning.
I regret to say that we're in the worst economic mess since the Great Depression.
Our economy is in crisis.
Owning a home is a part of that dream.
I don't think we have to compromise. Just a world without the greed and all the lies. No one has to die.
Thousands of dangerous killers, schooled in the methods of murder, are now spread throughout the world like ticking time bombs set to go off.
Nobody ever sold you.
You may feel hopeless.
Think you would ask for more.
You feel lonely and anxious.
Nobody
These enemies view the entire world as the battlefield, and we must pursue them wherever they are.
Drones have not caused a huge number of civilian casualties. For the most part, they have been very precise.
The price of indifference would be catastrophic.
Side effects may include dry mouth, insomnia, sexual side effects, diarrhea, nausea, and sleepiness.
It is only by understanding how we arrived at this moment that we'll be able to lift ourselves out of this predicament.
Then go to work to turn things around.
Nations must decide whether they are prepared to rise to the occasions history presents them.
You may feel exhausted.
The worry you wake up with and the source of sleepless nights.
Yet America's economic house in order.
We still manage to spend more money and pile up more debt than ever before.
We are more economically vulnerable than we ever should be.
The private sector is doing fine.
We have to face the truth.
In other words, we have lived through an era where too often short-term gains were prized over long-term prosperity.
When you know more about what's wrong, you can help make it right.
And our political system so often is seen paralyzed by special interest groups, by partisan bickering, and by the sheer complexity of our problems.
There's a lot of fine print. It bothers people. It makes them nervous.
Americans are sick and tired of endless battles in the Congress and between the branches.
This is a regime that has something to hide.
Things just don't feel like they used to.
Americans must never again enter any crisis, economic or military, with an excessive burden of federal debt.
Surplus became an excuse to transfer wealth to the wealthy instead of an opportunity to invest in our future.
We have to face the truth. We have to face the truth. We have to face the truth.
It's called the American Dream because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Make sure the dream shines in all neighborhoods. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac will increase their commitment by more than $440 billion. Tonight I ask you to pass legislation to reform Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. These regimes pose a grave and growing danger.
That day of reckoning